Hi guys! Welcome to Health Pro Chronicles, a podcast where untold stories of health professionals from diverse backgrounds come to life. I am your host, Harriet Akpiohai, and I'll be sharing experiences from these unsung heroes within the realms of laboratory works and hospital. If you're a health professional interested in sharing your story, kindly click on the link in my bio. Do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's dive in. Today is a continuation from episode 1 with the question, what inspired you to pursue a career in healthcare? Well, let's see what these health professionals have to say. This submission reads, growing up as far back as 2003, I always knew I would work in the healthcare sector. I had the passion to take care of those in need. This was evident in secondary school where I would take care of my friends when they got sick, from holding their hands and leading them to the clinic to staying with them till they got better. I would even go as far as checking on non-classmates when they were sick. My joy upon their recovery and the tight hugs I would give them. Reflecting on those days, I wonder if that spurred my desire to pursue a career in healthcare. Another factor was my environment. All my siblings were in medical field too. I have 2 sisters who are doctors, a third sister in public health, and an elder brother who is a nurse. Wow. I was surrounded by healthcare professionals. Perhaps that further sealed the deal. In 2011, when I finished secondary school, I applied for medicine. It was the most popular medical course then. I got 3 offers from the university: mathematics, computer science, and medical laboratory science. Agba scholar. I was torn between writing JAM to apply for medicine or accepting MLS. It was my first time hearing about MLS. I researched the course and even wrote 10 reasons why to study or not to study MLS. I wasn't going to settle for a course I regret in the future. A friend's father owned a private lab and was making it big time, so I thought it'd be nice to own my own laboratory and be my boss when I'm finished. This is me 11 years later after I embarked on that journey, and I'm thankful I made that decision. Through laboratory diagnosis, I have touched so many lives, which have always been my driving force. The wonderful feeling I get when I see my patients recover and their loved ones sharing that warm hug hits differently. The wonderful feeling can't be explained. I love my job and I hope I can keep impacting lives positively. Wait, this sender, you had to write 10 reasons why you should accept or not accept MLS. Wow. This submission reads, what inspired me is my admiration for health professionals wearing white coats. They look like angels to me. When I was little, taking my blood samples or giving me injections was easy peasy. Are you sure? My dad always called me my doctor. In SS1, my performance in the science class raised doubt about my desire to continue on that academic path. In SS2, my teacher made maths and chemistry easy for me. I got my confidence back. After writing WAEC and JAM and not securing medicine admission, I retook JAM the following year. Despite focusing on medicine, my dad suggested applying to health colleges. At that time, the only health professions I knew were doctor, nurse, and pharmacist. At my father's suggestion, I applied to health colleges for medical courses without much knowledge about the specific courses. I secured admission into medical laboratory technology at the health college. Despite uncertainties about university admission, the allure of the medical aspect motivated me to embrace the opportunity. After enrolling in the health college, I was surprised when just a week into lectures, we were instructed to wear laboratory coats. Bearing mind, I jokingly thought, last, the white coat makes all of us doctors. 2 months later, I got admission in the university.
Hey y'all, come look at this.
Guess the course. Integrated Science Education. I didn't even think twice about continuing the med lab tech. Though unfamiliar with the course, I appreciated its connection to medicine, and that is how I ended up in the MLT profession. Hey ho you. This submission from Ivy Song reads, during my primary school days, I loved integrated science and introductory technology, which turned into biology and chemistry in secondary school. I just knew science was my thing. Later on, physics became interesting. I had to choose between being an engineer or a doctor. But when I lost my dad to cardiac arrest immediately after secondary school, I was challenged to put an end to such situation. How? I didn't know. I just resolved that being a doctor would suffice because it was really a traumatic experience for me as a young boy. I can imagine. I looked for admission for 3 years before getting one to study medical laboratory science through the pre-degree program at Rosalind University, Eboma. I wasn't okay with it since I only knew doctors, nurses, and pharmacists. Which one is MLS again? I asked. I resolved to writing JAM and UTME again to be a doctor, and this decision was agreed upon by my family. Few days being in school, we had an orientation class with the HOD and other MLS lecturers. Right there, I was convinced that the dream was to be a medical laboratory scientist. It was years later in school I knew that the system had failed my dad because a proper laboratory diagnosis wasn't done before his demise. There's one thing I've noticed. Each story has this peculiarity, which is we only knew about doctor, nurses, and pharmacists. It's crazy, right? Let's go on to the next story. This submission reads, I have always been empathetic as a young child growing up. I felt much better seeing people smile. Being in healthcare was one way I knew I could affect people's life in a positive way. My father wanted me to be a lawyer. As a child, I noticed I was too reserved to be a lawyer. I lacked the energy to sustain an argument. A career in healthcare suited my kind of person, so I chose to be here and I am so glad I did. This is a perfect example of I don't have the strength to argue. I don't have strength to argue at all. I am so glad you got to choose a profession that suited you better. This submission reads, as a young kid, whenever there was a need to visit the hospital, I enjoyed seeing and interacting with medical doctors. I had this consciousness of going into the medical line, and as we would all agree, when you are asked what you want to be when you grow up, we will chorus, Doctor! Back then, that was all I knew about the health personnel I met in the hospital. We also had little knowledge of those we see as the wicked ones, the nurses, because they usually mess up our bum with injection. In senior secondary school, I chose the science class because healthcare was my target as a course of study in the university. I did excellently well in my biology and chemistry and in other science subjects. There was lots of encouragement to study medicine at the university. Then came JAM that jammed me. My rote was called 222, which wasn't enough to be offered admission into College of Medicine in a federal university. I had to look for alternative courses that I could use that course to study. As part of finding my purpose in life, I wanted to be a life preserver and had deep thoughts of doing something rather than losing hope. Not wanting to stay home, I had to accept attending a private university. I did medicine for the first year and a half, but after a few revelations from the Almighty, I honorably changed my department to medical laboratory science. Over time, I began to love everything about MLS. Please, what revelation did you get from the Almighty? Are you thinking what I am thinking?
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it.
This submission reads, I have always wanted to be a health professional right from my childhood because I saw myself as being caring, especially caring for any sick family member. In secondary school, I had to do excellently well in science subjects because I knew that would pave way for me to study my dream course in the university. I passed my WAEC exam and proceeded to writing JAM, of which I scored 230. Though it wasn't up to the pass mark for medicine, I was offered medical laboratory science as consolation, which I accepted. I have no regrets at all and I am doing well by God's grace. I have worked in various health sectors and I am currently a biomedical scientist in the United Kingdom. Please send us £1. This submission from B reads, what inspired me pursue a career in healthcare was my passion for human wellness and the impact it has on our society. I remember growing up at age 15 when I fell ill and was admitted in the hospital for a couple of days. I took my time to observe how the health professionals worked as a team to ensure the wellness of their patients and making it a topmost priority. I started developing interest in the field of healthcare. Though nursing was my first choice, nursing department wasn't available in the pre-degree program, so my elder brother advised I choose medical laboratory science. To be honest, I didn't know anything about the course, but I went ahead and chose it. In 100 level, I found out that nursing department was brought back the same year I did the program. The process of changing courses can be taxing, I know, right? So I just continued with my MLS, and that has been the best decision I have made. This submission reads, growing up, I got inspired by my parents, not just to be a science student, but also to be a healthcare professional because of their beliefs about the healthcare profession, which are doctor, nurses, pharmacists, medical laboratory scientists. God has given them the knowledge and the grace to treat and care for the sick. Every healthcare professional is highly rated and well-to-do, rich. The healthcare system is such a lucrative one that anyone that ventures into it wouldn't regret. That's true. I wanted medicine and surgery, but was given optometry by the university. I got to know about the course, and because it's a healthcare profession, I developed passion for it, and right now I am enjoying it. I can proudly say that pursuing a career in healthcare is the best, all thanks to my beloved parents. You see, there are some of us that our parents influenced our decision going into healthcare. Well, let's see what the next poster has to say. This submission reads, I'm a biomedical scientist. I always wanted to be a civil engineer, but my parents insisted a medical course made more sense in the reality of the new Nigeria. Turns out, they were right. And up till now, I still do it as a means to an end goal. It's been fun though. Anonymous. This story reads, initially, it was my parents wanting a doctor in the family and me not wanting to be a doctor. So I decided being a med lab scientist would suit me. It got interesting and I was like, oh, there's money here and I get to help save lives. Please, you people that are writing there's money. Is there something I'm not knowing? Because all of you are writing there's money here, there's money here. This submission reads, my passion for the healthcare profession was driven by my family's standards and background as a child. Back then, my parents were particularly interested in my siblings and me going for professional courses as they were willing to have us settle for less. My dad is a lawyer while my mom is a nurse and as the last child, I was often regarded as a mommy's handbag. However, I didn't take after my mom as a nurse as I had passionately desired to become a doctor so I could complement her limitations. I tried severally to gain admission into the faculty of medicine, but as I tried, the system was busy working against me. We came to a compromise in medical laboratory science. At least there is med in both. As I grew into becoming a scientist, the unwavering exposure and amazing experiences I gained therein launched my passion for the profession into an endless quest for more. It's very evident that this person's parents is a lawyer. Damn. So guys, we've finally come to the end of episode 1. I had an interesting time reading out the stories and getting to know my people better. It is very evident that our inspiration could come from family and environment. Now let me know, what team do you belong to? If you're a health professional interested in sharing your story, kindly click on the link in my bio. And do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, I remain your host, Harriet Akliohai. Bye guys!